50 years ago today, the Edmund Fitzgerald and her 29 crew members were taken by the cold water of Lake Superior.
TV6's Michael Solbeck joins us live from the Marquette Maritime Museum with a look into the past of the historic ore carrier. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Today is a very important and monumental day. Not only is it the 50th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, but there's a lot of history that goes and is tied to this boat. Now, joining me this morning is Hillary Billman with the Marquette Maritime Museum. This is one of the most told stories in the Upper Peninsula. It's a very historic ore carrier that has traveled the Great Lakes and traveled Lake Superior many times for its final voyage. What kind of history and impact has this boat had here in the Upper Peninsula?
Well, a lot of people ask why the Edmund Fitzgerald is so famous and other ships and other shipwrecks are not famous, and really the answer is the song. The song came out and everybody knew about it because of the song. The song was #2 on the Billboard charts in 1976. But this ship and all of its crew members have just caught everybody's attention, broken a lot of hearts. It's just such an interesting story about that day on the lake. The fact that the Anderson was right behind it and sort of had that view of the Edmund Fitzgerald right up until it disappeared.
And here at the Marquette Maritime Museum, there's an exhibit that explains some of the history, the crew members themselves, but also can hear the last radio transmission from the Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
When we hear that, what kind of emotions can bring to people when they see some of these exhibits?
Well, the way we have it set up in here is when you walk up to this screen, it's blank, and then it'll pop on, and you can suddenly hear these voices. And it just kind of makes you stop, and it's a little bit hard to hear on some of it, but it makes you stop and really listen. And it just, I can't even explain the feeling. I can just kind of feel it inside of me. It's just that emotion. But people stand at this exhibit and read every single label. They're just fascinated by all of it.
Now, there's some really interesting tales and facts about this specific voyage, and especially the crew members being very different in age. What was some of the more historic moments that really kind of make us ask those questions still to this day of why?
The problem with a shipwreck like this is if there are no survivors, you don't know what happened, and there was no eyewitness that was right there. So the fact that people really don't know makes them keep talking about it. And you know, you have to be careful about talking about certain things with family members. You don't want people to get upset about it. But the fact that we really don't know, a lot of people get really worked up about their theories and whether it's correct or not. But really, you cannot say for sure what happened.
Now, something I think is an important moment to bring up is that this was 50 years ago when we really haven't seen a wreck of that caliber here on Lake Superior. What does that say to some of the research that's gone into finding out why the Fitzgerald crashed and correlating to some of the safety improvements within the ore boats in themselves?
Right, so there has not been a major shipwreck like that in 50 years. I mean, a couple years ago, it was almost the Michipicoten, but a lot had to change after that because there were some things on the Edmund Fitzgerald that were lacking, some of the safety features that they didn't have, that now all of the boats are required to have.
And that's something that is this history and the story of this boat has really brought to the modern world. And it's, of course, talking about today and the modern world. If you at home want to join in on this and watch the ceremony honoring the 29 crew members, we'll break down when that happens and how you can watch it in our next segment in just a few minutes. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Michael. And on this day, we also have an exclusive special airing on our TV6 Plus app. It's free to download in the App Store, so go ahead and give yourself a couple extra minutes to watch that today. But on this First Alert Weather Day, Jennifer, we're paying extra special attention to the snow outside, especially Marquette and Alger counties.
That's where the heaviest snow will be at for today. I'll time it out for you coming up.